What up, friends? It's What I Lack, and today we're going to be reviewing Wooa's newest mini-album, Joy. This is actually the debut mini-album by K-pop girl group Wooa. The rookie group started back in 2020 by releasing a few singles. The group has also garnered a decent following since then, treading that awkward middle ground between cult favorite status and mainstream success. I found their bassy and somewhat experimental group titled debut single to be pretty interesting, although they have mellowed out quite a bit on the experimental front since then. This mini is still pretty fun and one of the better examples of this subsect of K-pop, but overall it still is fairly inoffensive and safe. Danger is the main single from the record, and it's a pretty alright start to the project. The electronic bass and stifled beat are pretty fun and have a jagged and energetic charm to them. The pre-chorus is pretty fitting for the track overall, and the chorus has a nice blend of the drop-styled chorus and the vocal-styled chorus that you tend to see from this genre of K-pop. The flows are also pretty quirky and do have a pretty distinct identity compared to some of their contemporaries. However, I do think it occasionally does feel a bit sparse, like it doesn't have that punch to it that it really needs. It feels kind of underwhelming at points. Joyride, however, is one of the best songs on the mini-album, with this little sax that flutters around that adds a lot of personality to the song. It has an upbeat and lively flair to it, and the vocals have a cheeky charm. The brief pauses in the chorus are pretty engaging, and the track overall just has a very light and carefree energy to it that I really enjoy. The little beeps and boops that are in the second verse are also really fun and just add to the many layers that make this track interesting. I honestly hope that they continue with this sound going forward because this is some pretty cool stuff. The lyrics also add to the carefree nature of the song by depicting a sort of light and breezy day out on the town with a partner or just someone you care about. Go Away, though, is probably my least favorite song on the project, as it largely just feels like a Chainsmokers-esque EDM pop tune with not much unique about it. I'll admit that the chanted background vocals are a pretty cool element, but the chorus especially just feels very trend-chasing and bland. I feel like these chanted background vocals could have been used in a much more engaging way and on a much more engaging beat that really put the focus on them. The vocals are alright, and the lyrics are actually pretty great, with the girls leaving this relationship where it felt like they were doing everything for this guy, like they were his mother, so props to them for that, but sound-wise it's just not very engaging or interesting. The next song, Switch Up, is kind of a weird genre switch, true to its name. It has this pop-rock guitar that's featured as the main instrumental element, and the flows on this one have a much more rapping cadence to them than they do a singing cadence. For some reason, and not many will get this, but this song in particular reminds me of an old K-pop girl group called What's Up. Not necessarily in like the sound of the song, but just in the vibes that they bring. It's interesting to say the least. I gotta say though, the song is pretty neat, and it's a sound that you don't hear a lot in K-pop right now, especially not in the girl groups at the moment. The lyrics are kinda cheesy party stuff, but they fit the over-the-top nature of the track, and I think they add to the fun and silly charm of the song overall. Straight Up is kind of an interesting one, being very beat-driven with a sort of synth-pop flourish here and there. The general sound is alright, if nothing too unique, but it has these light and delicate flows that are pretty cool, and the contrast between them and the general instrumental is pretty interesting. I like the sense of space that this song has at times, but again, the general instrumental can feel a bit standard, especially in the synth horns that are in the pre-chorus and the strings in the chorus itself. The general supportive nature of the lyrics is pretty nice though, and I appreciate the sort of astronomical references going on in there to give it more of a poetic feel. The last song, Catch the Stars, is by far the best song on the mini-album, with a great piano-focused instrumental with a huge bass presence as well. It has this very dance-pop charm to it. I love how full the sound is as well, feeling very 80s in its overall aesthetic. The vocals are so lively and well done, and that chorus is just shimmering with these great flows and guitar passages. Every element combines in such a great way. I think this is the sound that the group should be pursuing if they don't want to go in that experimental direction that they tried with their debut. Everything here is just fantastic, and the lyrics are also pretty great, honing in on that shimmering aesthetic with references to light and running through the city at night. Overall, this is a pretty decent project, I have to say. The vibes are fun, and it's a nice example of the dancier side of K-pop. The tracks had some decent variety, alongside some nice flows and instrumentals, however, some were definitely more fleshed out than others. The more layered tracks like Joyride and Catch the Stars were definitely the best, while the trendier tracks like Go Away and Straight Up kind of fell a bit flat. It is a bit disappointing to see them abandon their experimental sound that they had on their debut singles so early in their career, and even some songs like Danger can feel a bit too sparse at times, but if they continue with songs like Joyride and Catch the Stars, they'll do fine in the future. I'm feeling a light 6 on this newest mini album by Woo-ah. Of course, we do have to talk about album covers on this show, and this one I'm kind of torn on. I kind of like the general aesthetic of it with the sort of fractured colors in the background, the very bold text. However, it also kind of feels like an Adobe advertisement in a weird way. Like, something about it just feels advertisement to me, and I'm not sure why. So I think the general idea was pretty cool, but the overall aesthetic almost feels a bit too corporate for my liking. It's kind of weird, but that's just how I feel. But of course, those are just my thoughts on this newest mini album by Woo-ah. What did you guys think? Do you think this is maybe a new K-pop girl group to watch? Or is this not really hitting all that much for you? Let me know. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell if you too sometimes feel joy. And until the next one, farewell.